Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Good? You're up. You're up early. Thank you for coming to our morning sessions at the third day of the Games for Change Festival. I have a friend over here holding up a sign with Wi-Fi access. If anybody is curious how they can get online, it's right over there. We have a great few hours ahead of us, and I want to introduce our MCs for the morning. They are Wendy Smullen and Claire Green from the organization Sandbox Summit, which holds an annual conference up at MIT every year. Definitely check out sandboxsummit.org. And Wendy and Claire are going to be introducing the various speakers for today. So welcome, Wendy, Claire, here you are.
Hi, good morning. I'm Claire.
Hi.
We believe in since these are mini talks, we're just going to let the folks introduce themselves more or less. So we're going to start off with Azadeh Jamalian, I hope I've pronounced that correctly, the Chief Education Officer, Learning Officer of Tiggly. And if you don't know, how many know Tiggly? Okay. Oh, good. Okay, if you don't know Tiggly, it's one of the more innovative, playful learning companies around. Ozzy is going to talk about, do parents and app designers agree on what's educational?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. Okay. So, according to a new report by Joan Cooney Center, parents believe that their children spend only 5 minutes with educational content on their mobile devices. This is rather shocking because there are over 20,000 educational apps on the App Store, and which all create a $1 billion market. In fact, the second largest category on iTunes are educational apps, and 80% of them are targeted towards children. So there's definitely a disconnect between what designers claim to be educational, what parents perceive as educational, and in fact what researchers say it's truly educational. There are different schools of thoughts about what's educational, what's the best way of having our kids learn new concepts. Constructivism is a very hot, there are many advocates for constructivism, which they encourage exploration, guided discovery through feedback and scaffolding, and inquiry-based learning connected to real-life experiences. And also there is direct instruction, which encourage for direct explanation, memorization of facts, and step-by-step solutions. In theory, many have a rather romantic view towards constructivism. Everyone say free exploration is good, play is good, we should not have our kids memorize facts. But in reality, in practice, many rely on direct explanation and just memorization of facts when it comes to designing and when it comes to teaching in classroom. We think that everything could be educational for kids. They can learn from any experiences. It's important for them to learn facts, to memorize facts, and it's also important for them to discover things. But what's really important is to put an emphasis what goes in their mind rather than what's in the worksheet or what's on the screen of a tablet. And I'm going to talk more about that. So at Tiggly, we think it's important for kids to learn building knowledge, learning facts. And that's also important for adults. When we want to learn a new concept, there are certain things that we need to simply learn about them. But also it's important to engage in thinking, engage in problem solving, flexible thinking, critical thinking, and really play around with the material they have in their hand. And also engage in creating. It's not only about observing information, but also about using those information to creating new things. That could be a piece of art, or it could be a science project, or a math formula. We're working with very young kids, toddlers, 18 months, 2-year-old to 4 or 5-year-olds. So what's important for us is to know what is important for their learning and their education and their development. We think physical play is an integral part of their growth. children need to play with physical objects. They have this it's important for them to have these hands-on play experiences to learn about the world around them. Because really, we don't really sit and watch the world. We actually have to act in it with our hands. But also, we think digital play can bring a lot to their learning. A big part of constructivism, a big part of guided discovery is about providing feedback and scaffolding at the right time and be personalized for the children depending on the knowledge they have. So digital play will be important, and it is important part of their children's education. And what we thought was, why not bringing these two worlds together? Why not bringing physical play to digital play to design the optimal learning experiences for the little ones? And there's always a third factor that we think it's very important, and in media, likely there's a lot of advocates for it, and that's parents. It's important to have parents involved in their children. So not just designing toys and designing apps will help kids to learn and to develop, but it's also important to bring parents into the picture. And when we bring parents into the picture, it's important for to actually convince them that what it is in front of them, it is educational. That is something that media, TV has been very successful. If you look at Sesame Street shows, Disney, parents, they actually like to watch those shows. They like to sit and participate with their children in watching. But that is something that's missing from a lot of educational apps. Educational apps are just simply boring for parents. They give it to their kids, and they just go to do something that is more entertaining for them or more engaging for them. So the first product was shapes. I have them here. And it was a little bit easy to convince parents that it's educational. Every parent, one of the first toys they buy for their kids is shapes. So we didn't have to play that hard to say this is educational. The next, we wanted to do a toy for learning math. And we had a lot of discussion what's the best toy to learn math. And the easiest and the most simplest answer was let's have digits, numbers, and parents know the magnets on the fridge. Let's just bring those, just have those that interact with iPad. But we said, well, that's really not what kids need to learn when they're learning about numbers. Symbols is the last thing they need to learn. Before that, they need to know the meaning of these numbers. They need to connect number 2 to the quantity of 2. They need to know that 5 is more than 4, 5 is less than 6. Those are important, much important concept than just knowing the shape of these symbols. So instead, we decided to go this route. We said we're going to do counting blocks, manipulatives. Now, if you see this on the shelf, a lot of parents will go grab it and say this is an educational toy. If they see this on the shelf, we'll see. There probably we have to do a lot of arguments, and we have to do a lot of work to actually convince parents this is really educational, this is better than this. And then about the apps. So what we think is important for children to learn in early when they learn about numbers. There are tons of apps that help kids to memorize the number orders, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. In fact, any counting app you download, that's what they teach. Not any, almost all of them. Learning order of numbers is important, but if you know a 2-year-old, if you know a 3-year-old, ask them to count up to 10. They will easily count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Ask them to say, show them a set of candies and ask them how many they are. They will say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Instead, give them a bag of candies and ask them, give me 5 candies. What they would do, they would just grab a bunch of candies and give it to you without counting. So what's missing there is that they don't know how to use their counting skill to connect it to quantity. So as much as it is important for them to learn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, there's so much more things that goes into numbers. And as designers for kids, we need to design apps that actually bring those thinking processes into our designs. So we thought we're going to put these blocks on the screen, and one thing important for kids to practice their one-to-one correspondence. So kids will put their fingers into this hole, one, and as they do that, these little coins will come out of the rods. So they will see different representation of numbers. They will connect the symbol 3 to the linear representation of 3 to discrete representation of 3. And then they could put them in 3 bowls. They are practicing equivalence. So there's 3 bowls, 3 coins going into them. They could salt it, and then they could decide to put their rod on the screen again, and if they do that, then there will be a monster with 3 eyes grabbing the 3 coins. So everything about this word is about 3. There are 3 bowls, 3 coins, monster with 3, symbol is 3. And children keep connecting these different representations to each other. Is this educational? We'll see. Probably many things is just a fun play activity with monster and candies, but really it goes into what kids need to learn about number 3. Next is addition. We thought probably this is the most obvious way to teach addition. 3 plus 4, what's the answer? Parents get it, very easy. But instead we thought let's focus on sets. Let's say what is 3? What is 4? Let's have kids to actually put these together through their gestures, practice this process of adding, connect symbols to their experiences, so mathematizing their thinking process, and also help them, let them explore. So they could also put the bubbles just like with a different gesture and make different parts out of it. So we're connecting addition with a gesture and parts of a number with another gesture. So just to wrap it up, as designers, it's important to not force educational content just to be educational. If you want to be educational, it doesn't mean just throw a bunch of symbols on the screen and that makes it educational. Instead, it's important to focus on what goes in child's mind. What's on the screen is just helping them to think about the things that we want them to think. As researchers, we need to get much better in communicating with members of other communities. What is important for other people to know about education, and how can we communicate those information? And as parents, that's something we're learning about. So I will tell you in a few months when we launch our Tiggly Count what happens there.